I have to. So usually when we are doing services, I have my mic is on, but I have two. So usually, yeah, that goes right there. This is a really fun game that I actually planned. I put in my outline. Play the guitar stand game. Thank you. Thank you. So usually I have my microphone right here. So at any point, if I forget to talk into the mic and you can't hear me, you can just say Rabbi, and then I'll remember. So,
and me, you can say, get away from that mic.
So we are going to get started with a breath to center us in Shabbat. And we will begin with the Nigun. It's now my pleasure to invite Janine Charlton to light the Shabbat candles for us. The blessing can be found on page 120.
We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Today, beginning tonight, is not only Shabbat, it's also motorcycle racing night. It's also Rosh Chodesh. It's the beginning of the month of Elul, which is today's actually will be the 29th of Av. It's a 2-day Rosh Chodesh, which happens on actually 30th. And it's the month, of course, where we start preparing for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. The beginning of Elul really marks the beginning of the season of Tshuva. It doesn't start on Slichot. It actually starts. We get a whole month, and then we get another almost 3 weeks until the very, very end of Sukkot, until Hoshana Rabbah, to take stock, to take account. Cheshbon Nefesh is our magic words in Hebrew. Checking in on how we've done this year, all that stuff that I think we know pretty much all about. And there is a psalm, a text, it's Psalm number 27, that keeps us company all the way through that almost 7-week period. It begins by saying, God is my light and my salvation. Whom do I fear? It's mostly a psalm of faith, although it really covers a wide variety of emotions. It returns, however, to faith and says, even if my mother and father abandon me, you won't abandon me, God. And then it kind of trails off. It says, the dots are not there. If I had only had faith to see God's goodness in the land of the living. And then it goes to where it says, hope in God. Kavel Adonai. Make your heart strong. Chazak v'ya'ametz libecha, and hope in God. They don't really seem to connect. It kind of trails off, and that's kind of the psalmist's final thought is, have hope. So it's a good message for right now. The words that we're going to sing are those last very lines, 6 Hebrew words. The easy part probably is Kaveh El Adonai. Well, if you want to try that, go ahead. Kaveh El Adonai. The slightly harder part, Chazak, like strong. Here it means to be strong. Chazak v'ya'ametz libecha. I'll say that again, and you can, if you want, with me. Chazak v'ya'ametz libecha. Be strong. And ya'ametz. It's one of those words. It's hard to translate.
So ometz lev is to like have fortitude in your heart, to be like sure of yourself and to be brave.
Faith in yourself. So this is a tune by Brian Joseph Schachter Brooks of lots of places, including Chochmat Halev in Berkeley. And we probably decided what key we were going to play it in, but I forgot.
Whichever one.
Oh,
you
D.
wanted to.
D it was going to be. I remember now. And I hope you'll join. Kaveh, Kaveh, Kaveh Adonai, Kaveh, Kaveh, Kaveh Adonai. We'll do that again. Kaveh, Kaveh, Kaveh Adonai, Kaveh, Kaveh, Kaveh Adonai, Kaveh Adonai. Chazak v'ya'ametz libecha, v'kaveh el Adonai. And here we go. Kaveh, kaveh, kaveh el Adonai, kaveh, kaveh, kaveh el Adonai, kaveh el Adonai. Chazak v'ya'ametz libecha, v'kaveh el Adonai. Kaveh, kaveh, kaveh el Adonai. Kaveh, kaveh, kaveh el Adonai. Kaveh el Adonai. Chazak v'ya'ametz libecha, v'kaveh el Adonai. Kaveh el Adonai. Chazak v'ya'ametz libecha, v'kaveh el Adonai.
Hopefully we feel as though we've gotten into a little bit of the Elul spirit. Shabbat spirit with the words of Lecha Dodi on page 138.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Chana, Eni Shabbat, Lekavena. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Chana, Eni Shabbat, Lekavena. Shamor Mezachor, Ledimur Echad. Ishmianu el Amiufad, Adonai Echad, Shmo Echad, Neshemot Tiferet v'Nitzilah, Lecha Dodi, Mikras Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekavena, Lecha Dodi, Mikras Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekavena, Likrat Shabbat, Lefu V'Nefal, Ki Mekor Averacha, Erosh Miknemes Yisrael, Sov Ma'aseh Ma'ashavat Milah, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Chala, B'nei Shabbat Nekavena, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Chala, B'nei Shabbat Nekavena. תוך אמוני עם סגולה. B'nei Shabbat Nekavena, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Chala, B'nei Shabbat Nekavena.
Please remain standing on page 146 for the words of our
Awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? into dark. Light becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Olor mi bnei Roll into dark, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into light, roll into night, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night.
Please be seated. B'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzalecha hayom levavecha v'shinantam levavecha v'dibartam v'shivtecha v'beitecha u'mlechtecha b'derech u'shoftecha u'puknecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotavot b'neinecha u'ftachtam al mezuzot beitecha u'b'yisharecha למען תזכרו עשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם are about to sing the words Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai. Some pretty big words. Who is like you, Adonai? Is a rhetorical question, and the answer is Rabbi Zoe. No, but seriously, that's such a big question. It's such a big statement for a people that was surrounded by, at the time, Egyptians who were polytheistic. And to say, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, meaning, who's like you, Adonai? And the answer really being you, just you, God. There's nobody else like you, is a huge statement of faith and of trust. And so we sing Mi chamocha, and even when we don't always feel that faith and that trust, we soak in a little bit of the joy that people felt when they had that sense of trust and of joy. So we turn to page 158 and we sing the words of Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha netar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha netar b'kodesh. Baruch atah Adonai, God Israel.
We are on page 160 with the words, the last words of the Hashkivenu. Sukat Shalom Aleinu. May the one who spreads peace spread peace over us and protection over the people of Israel and over Jerusalem.
Baruch atah Adonai, haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'avot Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, haborei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'avot Yisrael.
We now come to the tefillah, the core part of our service. We are on page 164. Please rise in all the ways that you are able, and we will continue with our core prayers together. Adonai, sefatai tiftach ufia itehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bekonei Hakol, Bezocher Chasdei Avot v'Imachot, Mevin Ula Livnei Bneihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rak Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Tzomech Noflim V'Rofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Mithamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umidor Melach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umotzmiach Yeshua, Bene'emanat L'Hachayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please take a moment for your own silent prayer, either with the words of the page or the words of your heart. And when your prayer is complete, you may be seated.
May the one who makes peace bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down. May the one, may the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. In Roma. Oh, say shalom. In Roma. Say shalom. Amen. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom in Roma. Oh, say shalom in Roma. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Amen. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one bring peace down. May the one bring peace down. May the one bring peace down.
So, I've always had a correction. I haven't always had a problem with it, but recently, when I reread The Giving Tree, I had a problem with it. And I'll tell you what that problem was. This wonderful tree, this beautiful tree that has so much that this tree gives to this little boy. The boy keeps on asking, and she keeps on giving of herself, and then all of a sudden she doesn't have limbs. And then all of a sudden she doesn't, well, first she didn't have apples, and then she didn't have limbs, and then she didn't have branches, and then she didn't have her own trunk. And the boy was taking and taking and taking, and she was giving and giving and giving, and that is not the model that I want our kids to have when they are thinking about how they are treating mother figures, how they are treating the earth. And so I was reading A Year of Jewish Stories, and there was almost a response to the giving tree. I don't think that's the intention of the story. I think it existed before that story, but I want to share it with us this evening. Long ago, a man was traveling across a desert. He had made this journey many times before, and expecting the trip to last no longer than 4 days, he had packed enough food and water to last him exactly that long. But on the third day, he realized he had no idea where he was. He was lost. And the desert does not exactly have so many identifying points. It's not like you have, this really big tree that you'll know that you're at the right spot, or, the CVS on the left. You don't really have those markers for you. On the fourth day, he ate less food and drank less of his water, wanting to make sure that they lasted him an extra day or two. And of course, he had hope that he would find his way soon. And at night, he checked the positions of the stars carefully, trying to determine the direction he should take. And on he walked. On the fifth day, he slowly and reluctantly sipped the rest of his water and ate his last morsel of bread. And when he searched the night sky, the stars no longer reassured him. In fact, he wondered if he was heading in the right direction at all. By the end of the sixth day, the poor man had to search the bottom of his bag for even the tiniest crumb, the tiniest morsel of some kind of sustenance. His mouth was dry as the sand surrounding him, and he was so hungry and tired, and he stopped walking, and he looked at the horizon. There was only sand and sand and sand and some more sand. Now all that the man could do was cry. But he was so parched that he could not even bring forth tears. In a hoarse whisper, he begged, "Dear God, give me the strength to go on. Show me the way home." Then he sank down into the sand. Evening came, and the stars began to poke through this purplish sky as if urging him to continue. Gathering all the strength left in his body, he struggled, shaking back to his feet, looking to the distance one last time, and he saw something that he had missed before, a patch of green. Surely his weary mind was playing tricks on him in the darkness, but he stumbled toward the image. What else could he do? Before long, he could make out a big, beautiful fig tree with a flowing stream beneath it. He would not even let his eyes blink as he ran toward it in case it would disappear from view forever. And then there he was beneath the tree, and that tree was heavy with luscious fruit. Standing in wonder on a little mound under the tree, he thought he could make out the lights of his town not very far away, but he could not take another step. He fell at the edge of the stream and drank until his stomach ached. He ate figs until his belly bulged, and he stretched himself out to rest for the first time in 2 days, knowing for certain that he was almost home. As the stars winked joyfully above the broad leaves, he was filled with wonder for the tree that saved his life. How can I ever thank you? Shall I bless you with a clear flowing stream to feed your roots? You already have that. Shall I bless you with abundant fruit? You have that too. The tree nodded in the night air, its leaves gently kissing the stars. Still thinking of how to give the tree a blessing, the man drifted off into a sweet sleep. Those same stars visited him as he slept. In his dream, a strong gust of wind blew the stars from the sky. They swirled around and around like sugar stirred in a glass of tea, until they came to rest in the sands of the desert. From each star sprang a tiny sprout, and each sprout grew until a family of trees stood proud and strong. On the morning of the seventh day, the man awoke, completely refreshed and full of vigor. Right away, he remembered his dream and spoke tenderly to the tree as if it were a friend. "Oh, tree, I know how to bless you now. May you have as many descendants as the stars in the sky and the sands of the desert. And may each grow to be as beautiful and comforting as you are. to help all those who need you. Then he gathered as much fruit as he could hold, filled his water bag to the brim, and trekked on in the direction of his town ahead. He ate the figs as he walked, and he dropped the seeds between his fingers as he walked along. He was greeted with great happiness by the people of the town, his friends and family, who feared that he would never return, as happens in the desert. He told the story of this miraculous oasis that saved him, and soon other desert travelers, remembering his words, found their way there. And just like the traveler before them, they gratefully ate the tree's fruit, letting the seeds fall to the earth. And so it was that the man made his blessing for the tree come true. In each place that a seed was dropped, a new tree grew until the desert was green with a forest of life. We have needs from the earth. We need to eat, and we need to drink water. We are not ever saying when we are talking about sustainability and taking care of the earth or, asking something from a family member or a loved one that you're not allowed to have needs or you're not allowed to ask anything from people. But in addition to asking only what is sustainable, let's bless them afterwards. Let's say thank you. Let's show gratitude, and let that gratitude be that this continues to exist not only for us, but also for others. May love of family continue on with our descendants. Let us teach our children how to pass that on, how to show their care. And for the earth, let us make sure that when we are using what we need from the earth, that we do so with vigilance that this earth will exist for future generations as well. Came ye here at Zone, may this be God's will. With these words of Torah on our heart, we think of those who are in need of healing, healing of body, healing of spirit, and healing of soul. If you or somebody you know is in need of healing at this time, if you're joining us on Zoom, please feel free to type their names in the chat. And for those who are in person, please feel free to share their name aloud or in your heart as my hand passes over your section.
Cheryl Smith, Adrian Brown, Craig Spiegel, and Miss Gordon. My sister Julie Ellen, and Jordan. Mary King, Greg Kelly, and Doris.
For all those names that we've typed, that we've said aloud, and that we keep in our hearts, we turn to page 371 for the words of Misha Beirach.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. souls in need of healing, with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
We're on page 586 with the words of Aleinu. Please rise in all the ways you're able.
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא שמנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו בהם. וגורלנו כגורל
Please be seated. We take this time to think about those who are no longer with us on this earth, but remain with us in our hearts, in our memories of them, and in the way that we walk this earth. Please rise as your loved one's name is read. This Shabbat, we are remembering those whose yahrzeits occurred this past week. Esther Benisti, sister of Suzanne Corbett. Carol Cordova, mother of Eric Roth. James Dimino, remembered by Phyllis Dimino. David Gimple, father of Miriam Masliak. Grace Perlman, mother of Stuart Perlman. Rose Ruskin, remembered by Carol Schneider. Jerome Saltzman, father of Terry Gladish. Albert Scheinbaum, remembered by Nancy Weisenfeld. Sona Stein, remembered by Amos Picker. Theodora Steinberg, mother of Jerrianne Smith. And Phyllis Zero, mother of Marla Zero. We now invite all who are observing their first year of mourning to rise at this time. And we now rise as a community with our mourners to the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash shemei rabba, ve'alma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon u'vyomechon, u'v'chayei dachol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehi shmei rabba v'barach le'olam u'lamei amaya, yitzbarach v'yishavach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha v'echu, ve'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ve'amiran ve'alma ve'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. To which we say,
Amen.
please be seated. It is my pleasure to invite Michelle Eisenbrock to share what is going on in our community.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Torah study resumes this Sunday, August 28th at 11 a.m. on Zoom. Hope to see you there. Looking forward to it. If you missed last night's postcarding party but would still like to participate in the Every Voice, Every Vote campaign, please contact Susan Schwartz or Janice Fontino for information. The High Holidays info page is live on our website. Look there for information on service dates and times, how to submit for the Yisro Memorial Book, and the High Holy Day greeting, how to donate to our annual food drive, and other important topics. With our return to multi-access services, we need volunteers to help with both the AV team and screen sharing. Training will be provided for the AV team. Screen sharing is simple and can be done in the comfort of your home or in the sanctuary. Training is also available upon request. For more information and to volunteer, contact Mara. And thank you to Tony Monroe for being our AV person and Cheryl Cohen for representing the worship committee and Sean Rahman for helping with AV. Shabbat Shalom.
And thanks to Michelle for all she does. We continue with some blessings, and we will start off with our family blessings. So if you are not in the same space as someone you would like to send a family blessing to, I encourage you to close your eyes for a moment and hold them in your heart. And if you are in the same space as somebody who you consider family, however you define it, I encourage you to reach out to them as we share this blessing. May God bless you and keep you. May God shine God's face upon you and be gracious to you. May God's face turn to you and grant you peace, to which we say, Amen. And now for Kiddush, we'll have some grape juice for those who are in person and some wine shortly after services. But in the meantime, we'll say this blessing together on page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei b'ri ha'gafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho ve'amahu ratzon hivilanu zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit kivu yom techilah le'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim kivanu b'ha'ata v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodsha ve'ahava u'ratzon yechotanu Baruch atah Adonai v'kadosh HaShabbat. For challah, I have a special piece of challah. It has sprinkles on it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi
נוציא לחם מן הארץ. Birthday. יום הולדת שמח, יום הולדת שמח, יום הולדת שמח. Wait, is it really?
Well, so my birthday was this week, but I didn't realize was that we had my. Oh my gosh! I didn't even realize that was the intention. Thank you to Eliora for making this beautiful challah. It makes my hands just the right amount of sticky for a birthday.
And now she's going to play guitar.
And now I'm gonna
Oh, you like to be? You can do that too.
You can find the words to Hevenu Shalom on page 644. It's always good to pray for peace, and we're praying for peace a different way this time.
Why not? Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom, Shividua, Dua, Dua. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom, Shividua, Dua. Oh baby, Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom, Shibidua, Dua, Dua, Hevenu Shalom. Are we gonna do it again? Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom. Oh baby, Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom, Shibidua, Dua, Dua, Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem, Hevenu, Aleichem, Hevenu, Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom, Shibidua, Dua.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Long time since I've been to camp.